Thank you. Just to introduce myself, my name is Michael. I look after our Philippines region. Give you a little bit of background. 2021, I was the only person looking after Philippines for DocuSign. Started this year, I now look after a team, and Nico is part of my team looking after Philippines.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. So hi everyone, good morning. Thanks again for being here despite your busy schedules. So I'm Nico Gomez, account director, supports Mike with these initiatives, and so I look after the Philippine market along with him as well. So I guess just going into the presentation we prepared for you guys today. I hope there hasn't been too much information yet over the past few hours and stuff, so we'll try to keep this short and simple. So for the next one, just going to introduce who DocuSign is basically. So just a brief overview, and I know it's quite funny, or I think it's quite prevalent to say that most of our customers, not just in the Philippines, but all over the world, would know us as, well, the company that does eSignature. But in truth, there's really so much more. So what we build is actually something we call the DocuSign Agreement Cloud. So basically something to really help to automate all of your signing processes, your systems of agreement, etc. So we have 60% of the market share, almost 2 decades worth of experience in this one, which is why we're really the leader worldwide. So we have over 1.2 million customers in all over 180 countries, and around 1 billion users. Actually, there's 1 billion users of people using DocuSign all over the world. So it's funny to say that with regards to the evolution of today's technology. So of course, even signing contracts is really very much evolved. Around 200 years back, we're using pen and paper, and it's funny to say that until this very day, from 200 years ago, we're still using the same processes. It still takes us 2 weeks, sometimes even a month, to go through some signing processes, depending whether they're for procurement, for finance, etc. But definitely, thankfully, in today's 21st century, we do have the use of eSignature, which just takes about, well, the best of 1 to 2 hours in best cases for using. So why DocuSign? We really focus on these 4 pillars whenever we're explaining why DocuSign. And the first one has to do with the customer experience. So it's the ease of using this, the ease of signing documents, and really eliminating a lot of the manual processes. You can imagine that with most companies, you have to download the document, you have to collaborate with different departments to make the documents, you have to sign it, scan it, email it, send it back, wait for the next person to sign, follow up so many times until it gets so frustrated, and then it has to go through all of these processes again until it finishes with regards to the completed agreement. So this is really exactly what we want to eliminate, especially that we now have a mobile or a dedicated mobile app, which you can use on iOS, Android, etc., and you can literally sign from anywhere in the world. Next, we also have some streamlined workflows that we can build on the system. So we do know that we have different use cases, whether it's for internal or external documents. Your teams can collaborate to actually make these kinds of workflows so that it's a more automated fashion of who needs to sign on different processes for procurement, etc. We actually also have invested very heavily on our security and compliance. So as you can see, we definitely have our enterprise-grade level of security and compliance controls. So we do have our various ISO certifications, PCI DSS as well, which is why the top banks in the world, not just the Philippines, have been using DocuSign. And of course, last but not least, is here integrations as well. So we have over 400 pre-built integrations with different software vendors and partners. So the likes of our good friends at Salesforce, SAP, whenever you need data coming from your ERP systems or your CRM, straight into your contracts, at least those automations are already there in place. And it saves so much time for your departments. So this is just really show how much trust the financial services industry has in DocuSign. These are some of the biggest banks we've been working with over the past few years. So we have the likes of DBS, UOB in Singapore, we have Commonwealth Bank in Australia, and we also have, of course, Bank of America, that's the biggest bank customer as well, American Express, you name it. So for this next part, I'll just hand it over to Mike.
Thanks, Nico. And you guys might be looking at this slide and thinking, these are all great brands, but I don't see local Filipino logos up there. So good news, we did sign 4 banks in 2021. The only bank that I'm allowed to reference is BPI, because we've had like a long-standing partnership with them. We use them pretty much every week. But just if anyone wants to know more, I'm happy to chat with you one-on-one our booth after this. But we do have 4 of the largest banks in the Philippines using DocuSign. I also wanted to kick things off, maybe just sharing a personal story. I know everybody's we're going deep about like what the product can do and facts and things like that. But maybe I'll just share me, myself, and how DocuSign actually with my bank, how it actually helped me. So in February 2020, I was saving to buy my first home. So I've been saving for 2 years. I finally went to my bank and said I want to get pre-approval for $1 million, get a loan. I want to buy my first house. I was living in Sydney, Australia. My bank turned around and handed me an application, probably was 3 pages long, along with this addendum document with all these things that I needed to bring back and print out. And they said, bring this back to us, and then we'll file it and get back to you. I wanted to do the application right there. I wanted to do everything there, but I couldn't. I needed to go home and collect documents. I went home. 2 weeks later, the pandemic hit, and I didn't feel comfortable leaving my house to go back into my bank to get this loan. So I called my bank and said, hey, I don't know what I should do, but I don't feel comfortable taking the train across town and getting this loan. Is there anything that we can do like virtually? And they said, no, you still need to come back into our bank. That's how we do our pre-approvals. So I was a bit frustrated. I also didn't know what to leave my house. One of my friends told me about this bank right here, Commonwealth Bank, bank in Sydney, and they do all of their lending, all their pre-approvals virtually and using eSignature. At the time, I wasn't working in DocuSign, but I called them up. I explained my situation. I told them exactly what I told you. They said, no problem, we'll do all this over the phone. Then they sent me a DocuSign document following that conversation. I filled it out online. I attached 2 or 3 documents, and within 24 hours, I was approved for my pre-approval on my loan, and I got approved for my home. Following that, I actually moved all of my money from the bank I've been with for 10 years to Commonwealth Bank, and I told this story to all my friends. So I'm just saying, a bank can have a choice of either one, create this beautiful customer experience, and you can win more customers like myself and all my friends, or people can go and explain how painful it was to work with a bank, and then in turn you start to lose some of your customers. So that story kind of leads me to my next slide, which is DocuSign being built for banking. So we say that we are audit ready. Any document that's signed, you get a full audit trail of everyone that's signed, IP addresses, geolocations. We track everything. We do have a very good partnership with BSP as well. Before we signed up our first bank, I had to have multiple presentations with BSP to make sure they were comfortable with us. And they've gone and audited banks that are using DocuSign. And when I speak to my customers after that, they all say the same thing. BSP loves it. Like they can go into DocuSign, they can see everything safe and secure. So your documents are safe and secure with BSP. You're also safe and secure in terms of if someone were ever to come back and ask for a contract to sign, it's all safe and located in one place. Customer first, I won't go too much into that. I just share a story about how DocuSign made moved to a new bank. And then last is internal monitoring. So we're the only platform that offers this tool to allow track 40 different internal or external threats. The most simple one that I always use is you terminate an employee. What's going to happen with all those documents that they might have on file on their laptop? If, let's say you had DocuSign and you terminated an employee, they went into DocuSign and start trying to extract contracts, you can have an alert set up so that after someone downloads 2 or 3 or 4 contracts, it immediately notifies IT and then you can shut them out. So that's just one of the 40 different tools that are built. So Nico touched on this a little bit, but for those who aren't aware, DocuSign for over 20 plus years. We are the only application that's built this app store. Anyone using an iPhone or an Android, you download apps, add additional functionality to your phone. We do the same with DocuSign. So we've got an app store, 400 plus pre-built apps. When I was speaking to different banks last year, SharePoint always gets brought up, or Google Drive, or Salesforce, or SAP. The good news is there's a pre-built application ready to go, off the shelf, no additional cost, plug and play, ready to go. So if anyone has other applications that say aren't here, there's a long list. Happy to chat with you guys online. So I know we keep saying like it's built for banking. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, that's great, but I don't know how my bank could use it. We try to pull together the top 10 use cases that we hear every day. So happy for you guys to take a screenshot of this, or Nico or I can email this to you following the presentation if you want a copy of this. But this just kind of maybe help you see, anywhere from mortgages to retail banking to private banking, pretty much anywhere where contracts are being signed physically, it can be replaced and used. So in saying that, we spent a bit of time just talking about eSign and signing contracts electronically. But I'm not sure if anyone's like ever, I think Professor Balki, am I saying it right? He mentioned Venmo in the US. So I'm from San Francisco, and I remember when Venmo was launched, it helped us all so much because we couldn't transact or pay people with money without having to go into our banks, get somebody's routing number, all this information just to transfer $20 to one of your friends. And so Venmo came out in the US and it allowed you to transact, which is this great fintech app that allowed you to transact and pass money back and forth. And when I wanted to do that, all I had to do was check a box that said, yes, this is my person's phone number, this is how much I want to transfer, and yes, I agree. So DocuSign offers this beautiful tool called Click, and it's designed specifically for fintechs. Well, it helps fintechs as well as the banks. So we presented on this last year to a number of banks that are sitting in this room. For those of you who may not have been part of that presentation, I'll explain it. Let's pretend your bank wants to do some sort of micro lending. So you want to lend 1,000 pesos or 5,000 pesos or something like that. Today it's very difficult for that person to borrow that money from your bank. We can actually facilitate some sort of micro lending tool inside your app. And the person's already been vetted out through KYC, they're applying, all their documents are in there. You just want them to go into your banking app, click on a button that says, I want to borrow some money, and then click I agree. Immediately that money can be transacted and moved into their bank account. So this is something that we're doing with Bank of America. This is something we're doing with banks in Australia. This is something that we're doing with a number of fintechs all across Asia. I haven't seen a bank yet in Philippines adopt this, but we're happy to present and share it to you guys one-on-one. But it is very simple. Just as you can see here, it's, I need to do something, I need to borrow a loan, and I just click a button that says I agree, and the transaction is done. This gives you a few more use cases. It's literally, you're in your banking app, you're clicking I agree. By clicking I agree, there's an audit document that's tracking all of that. It makes your product more safe, secure, tracks who's involved in all of it. Happy to chat more offline if anyone wants more detail. And this is our final slide. I just wanted to kind of wrap up, make sure everyone gets some lunch on time, and kind of share, these are three amazing use cases. So one, like Bank of America, I mentioned, they're all in with both eSign as well as Click. They're using their best and most well-known customer as well as the largest bank in the US. Commonwealth Bank, I mentioned, they're one of our biggest eSign customers in Australia. And I wanted to just mention Credit Pintar because that is our greatest customer story for fintechs. So Credit Pintar is a company that's based in Indonesia, and they came to us saying that whenever they were doing this micro lending, they required an eSignature, and whenever somebody would have to go in and do that eSignature as an email, they were seeing a 60% drop-off rate. So they wanted to fix this and find what's the fastest way that we can just get people to borrow money from us with less clicks without having to go email. And so we listened to what they were trying to do. We put a little presentation together. We introduced QuickWrap. We said, yeah, here, we've already got all their details, all their information stored. Everything's there. All we have to do now is click a button that says, yes, I agree to the terms. Yes, let's transact this dollar amount, and it transacts. So again, I know eSign is what DocuSign is known for. QuickWrap isn't maybe so much, but I do think anyone that's working for a bank or a fintech, it's probably our most popular application. And I know we were going to show a demo. Due to time, I don't know if we're going to do that. Yeah, I think we'll wrap up there. Yeah, go for it. Thank you everybody for your time today. Thank you.